Where would you start and how did you start? What was your whole process of getting into meditation?
I'm currently in Peru. I was in Uruguay and then Mexico before this. But I also have spent over a year and a half at meditation retreat centers between Mexico and Uruguay. And so I've also been able to cultivate and explore the inner world and this deep, profound space inside of me where I can find an internal space of peace that doesn't matter where I'm in the world. I bring it with me wherever I go. And I love travel. I tell everyone travel, see the world, explore. It's going to change your life. But for me, the internal world is just important or more because it's something I bring with me no matter where I'm in the world. My well being, it's like an inner sense of well being that I can be in Peru, I can be in Mexico, I can be at the Eiffel Tower, I can be in South Africa, Lesotho, Japan. And that sense of well being I bring with me.
I have kind of a similar aspect when I travel. Even though I don't do meditation, I feel like I'm carrying my home, not just literally on my back, but also in my mind and spirit. So I always feel comfortable no matter where I am, no matter what the culture, no matter what the language. And how did you start meditating when you were 17? So did that help in some ways to bring that kind of comfort wherever, no matter where you are on the planet?
Oh, absolutely. For sure. You know, actually, before I was meditating, I had a lot of mental health issues, a lot of self esteem issues, and my mind would never shut up. You know, that voice in there that saying, that brings us to suffer on some point, that makes us feel discontent on some point, that makes us feel that we're not good enough on some point, or what we have isn't good enough on some point. Like before, when I mean, the meditation I've done has helped me heal depression, anxiety, low self esteem, two eating disorders, just a bunch of things. And it's crazy because back then, when I was suffering more, I could be at some beautiful place in the world because I would still be traveling and I would be miserable. Or I would be somewhere else and I'd be miserable because I brought my mind with me wherever I went. And as I started doing the inner healing and work, I could really appreciate the moment that I was in and truly live the moment because so many times our mind never stops working. It stops going and going and going, and we're not used to being fully in this moment and fully experiencing life, which really is only this moment, that I wasn't fully able to grasp the the immensity of the beauty of the places where I was when I traveled. And now, as I'm present, I'm fully there experiencing that. I'm hearing the sound of the waves. I'm experiencing the wind. I'm really experiencing this moment instead of thinking, where's next, or thinking about something else, or worrying about this or that.
For somebody who, let's say, is not going under any terrible strain or trouble in their life, why should they do any kind of meditation at all?
I practice the Isha Judd system, which is I found to be the most effective meditation that I had found. And there's people with more extreme issues like I started out with, but there's people who are just living normal, mostly content lives. And I still see profound impacts on how it even enhances that it even makes their life even better. Now I feel like my life is great, but I continue to practice because it constantly is enhancing. It's being content and feeling good to be able to fully appreciate this moment, fully be here now, and experiencing an inner peace that doesn't waver depending on my circumstances. So there's so many benefits of meditation that even if you're like, yeah, my life's doing pretty good, nothing extreme, I completely recommend.
Right. Now, meditation is a word kind of like running. So just saying that I do running doesn't, I mean, there's such a different ways of running. You can run for 1 kilometer, you can run up hills, you could run 10 kilometers, you could go at a certain pace. There's so many different ways. Same thing with meditation, I imagine. There's so many different. So when you say what you meditate, how long do you meditate for that you feel brings you benefits? Because I've heard some people do it as little as 5 or 10 minutes. Other people do it for hours all day.
I love that you say that because there's hundreds, probably thousands of different meditation methods. I had tried quite a few, but then when I tried the Shijit system, it was like immediately I started to connect with this. inner experience of peace and silence and tranquility inside of me that not only did I experience while I was with eyes closed, but it's something that with this practice we cultivate and bring with ourselves in every moment of our life. It's a to go practice. It's not just while you're meditating, it's all 24 hours of the day to help sustain that experience of peace in the day to day life. I personally do an hour a day of the practice before, because I'm super busy. I work like 3 jobs. I worked 2 jobs while I was in college, involved in everything. People are like, how do you find that time? But once you make it a priority and you're like, okay, I want to give an hour a day to dedicate to myself, to my peace, to my well being, to my own experience of love with myself and love of life, really, because that's what I feel I've gained from this. Um, it starts to manifest in every part of my life because I bring that energy with me throughout the day, thanks to what I've given to myself for that hour.
Kateri, tell me an example of when you can practice gratitude, because that's something I believe in. Give me a specific, concrete way that you do it. Do you think, okay, for the next 10, 20 minutes, I'm going to set a timer on my smartphone and it's going to force me to think just about gratitude, one piece of gratitude, many pieces of gratitude? What's the mechanics of what's going through your brain? Or is it just more free flowing?
So, with the practice of the Isha Judd system, when I do that hour a day with eyes closed, I think these phrases that are high vibrational, based in praise, gratitude, love, unity. And when I'm doing that, all I have to do is think the phrase and let time pass. And the amazing thing about this type of meditation, which actually we call unification, because we unify with ourselves and with the world. The amazing part about it is that there's one part, sometimes it's cultivating a deep experience of peace, and then there's another times where the experience might not be as comfortable. It might be a little more not as like that deep peace, but what that's doing is it's cleaning out our nervous system from the past traumas, from the repressed emotions, from the memories, and anything that impedes us from experience life fully, from experiencing that gratitude that comes from within for life. In my day to day, one of the pillars of the Isha system is that what you focus on grows. So the more you focus, just moment to moment, things to appreciate, things to be grateful for, things to appreciate for oneself. Because one thing that I've gained a lot of awareness from this practice is that we tend to be our harshest critic. We tend to be very hard on ourselves. And the way in which I judge myself, I judge the world. So the more loving and internally kind that I am to myself, the more appreciative automatically I am of others. And people are like, don't judge others. And I found the less I judge myself, it's just an automatic response, the less I judge others. So that's with the practice and that's automatic. But yes, definitely throughout the day, I look for things to be grateful for. It's looking for that focus, to focus on praise, love, and gratitude. And it's a choice we have in every moment. In this moment, what can I appreciate? In this moment, what can I be thankful for? In addition to that, what the Isha Judd system has given me as I've been able to cultivate this inner experience of peace and joy that I actually do feel when inside of myself. I feel this vibration of peace if I come here to my heart center, think the facet. The amazing thing too is that it's been able to spark moments that keep growing every time it keeps growing and becoming more sustainable, where I feel gratitude that comes from within, that it's an automatic gratitude that almost like bubbles from within me, and not because I'm trying to force myself to be grateful, which is the best feeling. It's really, really amazing. And I'm so grateful for this practice to have been able to give me that experience, because that experience is priceless.
Yes, absolutely. Now, if people want to learn a little bit more about the Isha Judd meditation program, since a lot of people haven't even heard of it, where do you advise them to go?
I love the book Why Walk When You Can Fly by Isha Judd. Probably my favorite book that teaches the system. That's what I started out with, actually. But there is a website. I'm like, let me I think it's www.ishajudd.com. And it's like in Spanish, English, and Portuguese. It has a ton of information about the practice itself, about you can actually even go to the centers in Mexico and Uruguay. Also, there's a foundation that teaches this, that has taught this at to people across Latin America. The founder has talked at the United Nations. There's a program for children, and they've actually taught people who have been incarcerated, people with disabilities, and have done a ton of social work as well. And I actually, myself and about 250 others that have done a long process of self discovery, self awareness of at least 6 months, can now become facilitators or instructors. So I myself, or people who have done that deep work that I have done, can actually teach it. So I give Zoom seminars, or in person seminars, and then support students through the practice, which actually is really unique about this, that the foundation and instructors like myself, the teachers, actually give like free lifetime support once you've taken a seminar. So because the emotional component is in there and really dedicated to supporting each other in growth in our own well-being and this inner experience of peace. So yeah, I can actually send you the link for the website. It's https backslash Isha Judd, ISHAJUDD.com.
I'll put all the information on the show notes for those who want to learn a little bit more about the Isha Judd meditation system. And I hope, even if it doesn't encourage them to go there, they should just consider meditation in general. And I'm guilty because I've considered it, have yet to do it. But I think, I think probably the part of the problem is that some people go to meditation because there's a pain in their life. They're missing something. And it's harder to get yourself motivated if you don't feel anything is particularly wrong at that moment. But I do understand it can be preventative. It can heal parts of your thing that you're not even aware of, etc. So I will certainly keep it in mind. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you've encouraged people to take a deeper look.